Hey, you guys, what's up? Welcome back down here to Key West, Florida. All right. It's a little chilly place that I'm living in right now, and I absolutely love it. All right. Well, I thought that I would give you a lesson on the objects, the idea that this is that each one of the uh, chapters in this book that we've been reading so far of Genesis follows a pattern, which is I'm going to go over with you. We'll talk about it. But the way it works is in Genesis 1, it starts off with in the beginning, and that's really what happens every time you get to a 1. Even if it's number 10, uh, 10, 10 represents a 1. Do you understand? Right? And so does 91 represent a 10. So anytime that you come across a 1, it's a new story. It's a beginning, or there's a segue in there, but it's a new story. It's the beginning of something new. And that's how the numbers works. So what we get in the first part of this is Genesis is about the introduction of God, and so we are, it looks like they're creating heaven and earth, like two different things, but they're not. They're really describing uh, earth as not being a void right now, and that it doesn't have form. But it's also mentioning the waters, and that God moved upon, that the Spirit of God moved upon the waters. So that name, that word spirit, would tell you that this is not making physical things. This is a spiritual book. It's not a Harlequin romance novel. I like saying that. But we're in a place where consciousness is being brought to life here. And he has it separated. There's a firmament in the myths, which is the sixth. When you start to see it, it shows up on the sixth. That's the sixth chakra. That's the firmament. That's always that resting place before God's time, which is the seventh. But the idea is that they've created a separation between the waters above and the waters below. And they told us later on that they gathered all the waters from below together and let the dry land show up. And that becomes the lower side of us, the lower mind, the lower and body. Remember, it comes out as being number 5. Okay. So anyways, so they're saying let the dry land appear, but the dry land is not talking about a physical thing yet. It's still it's to be physical, but it's representing itself right now in the spiritual. Okay, all right, and we just know that because it's the lower mind that's being created here, the lower conscious. But it's also referencing the deep waters that come in as well. All right, so we'll move on. Let's try to do this as fast as we can. Genesis 2 is talking about God's creation. So this would be in order that thus the heavens and earth were finished, and the hosts for both of them. And on the seventh day, God ended his work which he'd made, and he rested on the seventh day from all the work which he had made. And God blessed the seventh day and sanctified it, because he had done he had rested from all his work which God created and made. This is 3. He rested after he had done his work. That's where we're at. If you make it into 3, if you can pull the 2 and the 3 together, if you can bring 5, if you can bring the brethren together, if you can gather them all together, not real far from this particular point, will you be, this is your works. You got it all together, and now you can rest. This is to show you very much. I know it kills people, and it kills those that want to be a part of this shop or this channel. You're God, all right? Anyways, it's hard for some people's mind to grasp this idea that if everything evolves around you, yes, you are this, right? But when you give it and when you toss the silver, this part of you, out into the street, you're not in control. You're not in control at all. You just think you are. And I put up with some of the most awfulest conversations with people that think they're attached to God or just totally put him out of their minds. They're out of their minds, absolutely out of their minds. But anyways, this is too is this idea that he created the heavens and the earth, and this is this idea that he created man comes into this place. But even Adam is when he breathes into his nostrils, he's only breathing into his soul. There is no body for him yet. He hasn't created him a body. So even Adam hasn't even met his wife yet. But when it comes down to it, he says, you know, I'm going to make you one. I'm going to make you a go meet for him. And so, you know, I mean, that's an awful strange way of calling his wife a go meet. But what he's really doing is he needs to be able to put something so he would have seeds. This, you know, this idea of a child can come alive. So then we get Genesis 3. 3 would be talking about, you know, we introduced to the serpent. 3 is this condition where you have used your mind. You ate from the tree. You're now knowing that that you are like gods, and they use the serpent to do this, which is you have to use the Kundalini anyways. And so we're introduced to her and this Kundalini business at the same time, believe it or not, on Genesis 3. Can you believe it? So she gets her and her husband to eat this at the same time. Of course, this is 3. This is the intervention. This is the idea that, hey, God is now with you. But when it was all over, God says, you got to go now. You got to go down. You're on your own. And I'm going to put a seed. I'm going to put a stumbling block. I'm going to fix it so that you and she have a hard time getting along, getting together and stuff like that. I'm going to put something between you and them, some kind of enmity, which is some kind of the angst between the two of them. And this particular anger is what they consider a hardened heart for those people that cannot get past the 6th chakra, all right? Because the vine was cut for you at that particular point. Yeah, so this is 3. Oh, she made me eat it. Well, everyone should get a chance to take a little bit of bite from her. It does the body good. 4 is going to be world. So what do we get out of this? We get Adam, Eve, right? Adam knew his wife and conceived and bare Cain. And we also wind up getting Abel. So here's 4 coming to life, all right? It's kind of crazy, but this is what it means, all right? So we have Adam, which is representing the intellectual side. He's the skin. He has Eve, which is representing the emotion. That's his wife. It's going to be 2. He has Cain, which is going to be the body, and the person that's supposedly on the good side, the connection with God, which is Abel, the keeper of sheep. He's the 3rd or the 4th in this. So that's how the worlds work. But hits his 4. What does he do? Cain kills his brother, therefore taking his connection to God away, and then God gets mad and, you know, But later on, Noah takes this out of everyone, takes this, this is the first killing of the brother. But when it comes down to it, Noah will later on bring this back to life and put the hex on his brother or on his son, that his son will have to do all the work for him too. So, or rely on him. But anyways, that's how that works. Genesis 4 is about worlds. You can't do the worlds without this traveling business. This is the 40 days and 40 nights and all that business. But here we are with 5. 5 is going to be Adam, the body itself. He's the generations of Adam when he created man. 5 represents the number of our of our senses. That's 5. It's number 5. All right. It's also the devil, 666, representing 9. But that's a low 9. But this is still all representing the flesh. Okay. That's what happens, and it just got mixed up because not mixed up. It's a 5. 5 is the brethren. It's the lower side of us. Represents earth. Yes, and earth is hell or Egypt, right? And the guy who's running it all, the show, is the devil. That's you and me, folks. All right. So Genesis 5 is talking about the body, and so we're talking about the brethren. It looks as though we're going to get a whole lot of Canaan, which is this idea. These are all children and things like that of the lower mind is what we get. All right, that's 5. All right, 6. We're just going to do to 9. All right, and the 6 is that 6 is that top of the ladder. The 6th chakra, it's a resting place. It's that place where we have to stop for a moment. And are you sure you want to go further than this? And in a lot of places, this is as far as many people can get because we're not connected to God. But this is the earth. This is the cutoff point. So Genesis 6, and it came to pass when man began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them. 6 is representing this idea of a lower business where the son of men and the daughters of men, or sons of gods and the daughters of men, are coming together. This is the lower mind taking the wife, desire, and our emotions. This is what they're taking on as for a lower connection to the spiritual side of us versus the mother. So they're cleaving to the wife. And that word cleave means that you've got to separate those two. You got to get away from the bad. You got to get your cleave. You want to get away from what is lower. You want to send the bitch home. You want to send the hoe away. But everyone really prefers the whore. And in fact, that's all we're given is the whore until we get our works done, until we learn how to, how to know and seed ourselves. All right. But anyways, so they're giants in the earth those days. So we're learning that 6 becomes the works. 6 is the works. And we know that the Bible becomes a snare for those people that believe in the word. And the word is the works. So those that get caught up on the outside of the Bible is getting caught up on the carnal side, which kills people. You have to understand that you go spiritless, or you're spiritually vacant of anything beautiful. And so this is representing number 6. All right. And God's going to destroy man. All right. So this is one of the ways that he'd have to go about it. And so what does he meet is Noah. And Noah begets 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. So there's 4 showing up. Noah is representing the West, the intellect, the real live human being, or something like that. We're going to say it's real life, but it's just a story. And his son Shem is the emotional side of him, the north, right? And then we get Ham is going to represent the body, the ham, right? It's going to represent 5. And this Japheth guy is going to be representing the higher conscious, or the higher side, or the spiritual side, which is white. So anyways, this was the idea that the earth was corrupt in those days, which just means that you're not connected to God even in those days. So if you want to fix this, and Noah has to prepare himself an ark. And he's going to pull all these people and things in it, and even the animal pieces and stuff like that. But this is really just this idea of you have to come into this ark. So this is representing the works. And when he gets done, we get into 7. All right. 7 is going to be, completion. This is where it happens. This is when the storm's coming. Everybody get inside, close the door. And you raise up. You go through your different levels. You go from the lower level of earth where the ark is setting on the earth, and then it goes into beta, the second phase, where it's being raised to the first level, and then it's being raised up to the second level, which is going to it goes the way the boat's built. It's the lower level, and then the first. So lower level is earth. That's beta conscious. Second level winds up being beta. Right? No, damn it, gamma, which winds up being where we drop off our clothes. All right, that's when we get rid of our garments. We have slipped into water. All right, and the water is raising everything up at this time. And then the third phase is theta, the third part of this. And remember, there's one more. There's a window set 1 cubit above that. So that's the fourth phase of consciousness, which represents the fire. But in this situation, it's rain, it's water. It's coming down through this window from heaven. All right. So again, this is about being in meditation when all of this is going on. This is not a physical boat. There are no giants running around, and there's no there's who knows, there may have been some real giants somewhere. I don't put that out, but it doesn't have anything to do with this story. This is about going within yourself, becoming this Jew and serving God. And that's what makes a Jew. Is a real Jew is someone who is inwardly, not someone or something that is outwardly. All right. There's so many wonderful things in the Bible that just point you in the right direction, that even if I pull this out and talk to people that are just as smart and witty as I would think they could possibly be, they just still won't see it or hear it and call me awful things. But it's a job. Let's go to Genesis 6. Genesis 6 becomes this. We got to make sure that this is now us. This is, I'm with you. This is my territory. There's no one left on earth. The ark comes to sit on the top of the mountain. And Noah is found naked and drunk. And his sons are a little embarrassed with this and back in on him. This is that idea of someone or something trying to take back what was theirs. It was like where like the robbers are trying to come back into this little place, this ark, this spot. They're trying to can't come back. They want to possess it. They don't want the new owners to take it. But God establishes a covenant, and this is this idea that from this point on, I will never do this again. I will not do it. So what do we have? Sweet and sour. So what is happening here is Moses makes some kind of a sacrifice of the 4 different worlds that he was talking about. All right. And this idea is that Lord wouldn't smell it. That, ooh, it just smells so fine. Well, he's just really happy that you made it over to this other side, and he remembered you. So this is how this starts off. This God remembered Noah and every living thing and cattle with him, and we're talking about that. And he made a wind to pass over the earth. Now, passing over, that Passover happens a lot, but this passing over the earth, no one dies, but everyone is cleaned up and brought back to life, and you're remembered. So 8 is this idea. This is control. This is mine. All right. So we go on to 9. 9 is going to be where we end this part of our story. 9 is this idea that Noah blesses his sons and unto them to be fruitful. 9 is a consciousness idea that now you're on the better side. Now this is the Chaldees, or this is the higher mind of the God is with you now. It's the bridal business. It's this idea that you are now cooking with the Lord. But what does he do? This is the covenant part. This is this idea that this covenant, that I will make a covenant with you. Now that you have connected to God, you're not going to be disconnected. You and I are going to be partners in this the rest of your life. That's the whole point of going and honoring mother and father. That's what this is about. Honoring mother and father, using this way, which is our chakra system, in order to do all of this. All right, so I'm going to minus you down, bring you back to life. So just with those, I went through the number system. That's the number system. This is the beginning. This is telling you how everything's working. And not all of them, but there's a good number of symbol or symbolic letters and writings within those texts that are going to talk about what 2 is, what 3 is, what was 4, what is our body parts. Anytime you got 5, it's going to be talking about the 5 different regions of our body. It's always like that. It's always going to be like this. Remember the story where someone had like clay feet and iron legs and this and that, and so much torso and la-di-da, and all that. It's the same thing. It's talking about the body. It's going to talk about the brethren. It's just beautiful. It's just absolutely beautiful. All right, so let's see how long it takes for this to go in. It's 20-something minutes. It's been taking hours. That YouTube's going over my shit with a fine-tooth comb, I guess, seeing if I'm, on the up and up. But anyways, you guys, best to you. I'll probably be back later. All right. I'll chat with you soon. Love you.